Welcome back, everyone. It is Sunday, May 11th in the MLB. I have four picks ready for you guys, but in just one moment, as always, it is Sunday and it's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Probably not a lot of you guys watching the video, but I certainly do appreciate you. I hope to turn in a winning day for you because those have been few and far between so far this MLB season. And speaking of a winning day, that's not what we had yesterday. It was another losing day, just a painful one at that. We had Reds first five team total over 1.5. That might have been best play of the year. That took three batters to cash. They hit a 3-run home run. They scored 10 in the first inning. If only all of our picks were like that, as both to score two in the first five. The Orioles couldn't get anything on Jack Kochanowicz. And then Mr. James Wood and Nate Lowe do not get it done for bases. Of course, the one lefty I didn't take, CJ Abrams, cashes his base prop. So if you want to run back either of those two, you have my full sign of approval. Miles Michaelis, one of those two is hitting their bases prop today. Now, Logan is not joining us again, but he should be back tomorrow. And so I am excited for him, and I'm hopeful that we can recap a winning day for him. I just need at least a 2-2 day. I know that's still technically losing money. I need at least 2-2. This is one of my favorite, if not favorite cards that I've cooked up. Last few days, we've had some bad reads in there. I love all four of these. I'm excited to see what goes wrong. But we begin out at the scene of the crime in LA, where we're taking the Orioles' first five team total under 2.5. It's minus 125 on DraftKings. Look, it's going to piss me off if the O's score three in the first drive after giving me nothing yesterday. And that plus the combination of Tyler Anderson, the last time he pitched, we tried to fade him and he pitched really well. So that's my only two concerns here is scene of the crime for the O's, scene of the crime for Tyler Anderson. Maybe two negatives make a positive, but I have to pay to find out for the Orioles. Their offense has just been a disaster this season, and they've been even worse against left-handed pitchers. Additionally, there's their last game of the road trip before they're back at home. They have tomorrow off. So again, how motivated is this team going to be? It's not like they're trying to avoid getting swept. I mean, the O's will face Tyler Anderson. Like I said, this is not backing Zach Eflin at any capacity as he makes his return from the IL. But again, Tyler Anderson, like I said, he's been good. A 2.68 ERA, a 1.04 WHIP. He's allowed two or fewer earned runs in five of his last six. Well, you love to see 92nd percentile on hard hit percentage. Look, Tyler Anderson, if he's going to get tagged today, well, let's make all the O's hit. Let's not have walk one guy, give up a single, and then a 3-run homer. And those are the only base runners he gives up, which could happen. That's how the O's offense sometimes works. But we've seen Anderson really limit that hard contact. And if you look at him, 154 batting average allowed with runners in scoring position, which drops to .091 with two outs. Now, will those numbers stay the same all year? No, but for comparison, last year he was 225 and a 148 with runners in scoring position, two outs. So again, he's a veteran pitcher. He knows how to get out of those jams. As I said, I have to pay to find out what the O's. This team cannot hit and can't hit against lefties either. This is a team, the O's, batting 177. 30th, dead last in the MLB. They have a 49 WRC plus, dead last in the MLB, and a 26% K rate, fifth highest against lefties. So again, they can't. They just are really struggling. And the last 10 lefties to face them, none of those guys have given up more than 2 runs. So again, I see this as the team just they can't hit lefties. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. This season, they're batting 153 with a 27 WRC plus with runners in scoring position versus lefties. In general, only batting 187 with runners in scoring position, dead last. So all these stats considered, Tyler Anderson pitching well. The O's can't figure out a lefty to save their lives. I'll fade them. If they figure it out today, congrats. Chalk it up to the game. But this is a team struggle against lefties. Final game of the road trip, heading back home. Half of their lineup is ice cold. They're having terrible ABs. I watched that against Jack Kochanowicz yesterday. Tyler Anderson, much more crafty. They have some decent-ish numbers on Anderson, but again, they can't seem to figure out a lefty right now, so I will fade them. First five team total under 2.5. I meant to note, top of the show. We have a lot of markets that have really sucked for us this season, and yesterday I went back through every single market that we have taken this season, and our top one by a large margin was the first five team totals. In fact, we are 7-1 on first five team totals. So again, they've been our most profitable market. We got to lean into that. That's kind of how I turned around our NBA season. We had that big cold streak after the All-Star break for a few weeks, and I just went back through every single pick, looked at the markets that have been good to us, unders and threes and stuff, and just unders in general, and took those. And once you know, we turned around our season in a big way. We're going to have to lean into that if we're going to turn around this MLB season, which has been a disaster to start. For those that are interested, First 5 team total 7-1. If you're looking under other markets, not a lot of the other ones are profitable. In fact, strikeout props were 3-1. Race to neither, if you will, is 1-0. So maybe we have to lean into those. Again, a lot of bad splits in here. I mean, when we're hitting at a 39% clip, give or take, there's going to be a lot of bad numbers in there. But maybe we start to lean in on some earned runs props, which we're 4-3 on, strikeouts, maybe some more team totals in the first 5 as well. My second pick, though, as I yap for way too long here, is going to be a classic fade here, and that is the Mariners -0.5 in the first 5, which is -110 on DraftKings. Now, we do need the Mariners to be leading by at least 1 run through 5. A tie game does not do us anything, so if you want to take the first 5 money line, lay a little bit of juice, get that push potential, you can. But I will take the Mariners to come in here, avoid a sweep, and start off early. Now, I actually looked at full game. I was considering back in the -1.5, which is +140. I think this is one of those games where the Mariners could win by 5 or more runs. This feels like a clear mismatch on paper. This feels like if the Mariners hadn't lost the first 2 games of the series, this -0.5 first 5 is probably like -140. But the fact they've lost the first 2 and the Blue Jays will command some respect. That's why we're getting these lines. But I really think this is a mismatch on pitching, on hitting, and really on motivation if we're talking about the Mariners team trying to avoid a sweep. And the Mariners also stay at home. So it's not like they're trying to pack their bags and get ready to go. They stay at home and they welcome the Yankees tomorrow, whereas the Blue Jays have tomorrow off and they're traveling back home. Let's talk about Bryce Miller, who we need to hold things down. We can't cash this bet without Bryce Miller at least pitching decently, and he's been dominant at home. Bryce Miller on the road, he's trash. At home, though, 2.3 ERA and a 185 batting average allowed. He's been really good. Toronto has seen the righties in this series pretty well. They got to that Logan Evans guy yesterday, and they got to Luis Castillo earlier on in the first game of the series, but they'd already seen Castillo earlier this season, and he hasn't been great. They haven't seen Bryce Miller. And Bryce Miller's also coming off a 4 earned run start on the road in Sacramento. I expect him to bounce back here. 1 or 2 earned runs, I can live with that. 0 earned runs would be great. Probably not what we're going to get. 0-1-2, I'll take that. Then we move to the other side. The real reason we're here, we're fading Jose Urena. That name sounds familiar. Well, he's one of the guys we faded a ton over the last few seasons. He is just a straight fade. He is not good. And I hope he doesn't figure it out today because he's made 2 appearances this year. The one with the Mets where he gave up 5 earned runs in relief in 3 innings pitched. The other was his first start with the Blue Jays on Tuesday against the reeling Angels team. He gave up 2 earned runs in about 4 1/3 innings pitched. You look at his expected ERA. I know he's only pitched twice. 12.13 with a 371 expected batting average. This guy's bad. He's a career near 5 ERA guy. He's been pitching since 2015. He just gives up way too many free base runners. He gives up way too many hits, and he gives a lot of hard contact. And the Mariners, they haven't really shown so much this series, only scoring 3 runs, but I do have a 131 WRC plus first righties at home, which is good for 4th best in the majors. And this is an offense that I see can get going here today. And I think they can easily win this first 5. They could win it 5-0. You could ladder it up if you wanted to. I think this is as just as good a spot as we talked about Lance McCullers yesterday, fading him. I think this is just as good of a spot for the Mariners against Jose Urena. Clear mismatch. Bryce Miller, lock it down. Jose Urena, go throw some turkeys. Let's hope the Mariners offense shows off in a big way and cashes that first 5 run line for us. My third play of the day is going to go out to Colorado. I won't be back in the Padres specifically, but I will be back in some runs here. Padres and Rockies over 5.5 first 5 innings at -120. I like the full game over at 11, but I think there's more runs early in this game than there are late. I know the Rockies bullpen's trash, and the Padres didn't pitch at all yesterday, so we'll see how the Padres bullpen does today. They'll have to pitch most likely. Nick Pavetta's not throwing a complete game, but I'd rather just target runs early in this one. Everyone has seen it. If you don't even bet baseball, you saw it, and that was the Padres winning 21-0 yesterday. Just a disaster. But we know the over is hitting the first 2 games of this series. And if the Padres want to do that again, go for it. But in my opinion, you're going to see people that don't bet on baseball come out of the woodworks and bet on the Padres today. And I don't want to be involved in the people that don't bet on baseball and are just coming in on the Padres. They historically, I feel like in those spots, they get wrecked. And I think that comes at the helm of the Rockies offense today. Number one, if you're a baseball player and your team gets 21-0'd, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be like, what the hell are we doing? And I expect their offense to show up against Nick Pivetta. I know it's a crazy statement to say, but I'll talk about why. However, we don't need their offense to show up because honestly, the Padres could put up 6 on German Marquez as well. Marquez has been terrible. And we've seen Senzatella. He gave up 8. Blaylock yesterday had a trip dub. He gave up 12. And they get German Marquez, who has a 9.9 ERA and a 1.97 whip. This is a guy that in his last 5 starts, he's basically given up this over by himself. Last 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, and 5 runs allowed. So again, he's going out there and just tossing turkeys. And one of those starts came in San Diego where he gave up 5 earned runs, one of them being unearned. So he actually gave up the 6. And so the Padres, seeing beach balls at the plate, they could hit this over by themselves. Let's keep that in mind. But I also think Nick Pivetta is due for a rocky start here. No pun intended. Nick Pivetta has historically struggled in Coors Field. He's only pitched there 3 times. So keep that in mind. One of them was like in 2017, 2018, and then last year. But in those 3 starts, Pivetta torched 8, 6, and 7 earned runs in his 3 career starts in Coors. That feels like a perfect, everyone's back of the Padres today. Like, oh, Nick Pivetta, German Marquez. We have like a guy with a 3 ERA versus a guy with a 9. Hammer the Padres. And then for some reason, you look at the scoreboard, you're like, Nick Pivetta gave up 7 earned runs. It's 7-3 after the first 5 innings. Yeah, that certainly could happen. That wouldn't shock me. Pivetta has been starting to show a little bit of signs of rust. 3 runs allowed in back-to-back starts. Yeah, he did carve this Rockies team on April 11th. 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 10 Ks. So again, he carved him recently. They've seen him coming off a 21-0 shutout. This has to be a game that they lock in, right? The Rockies have to figure something out. A guy that's historically struggled in Coors, a guy that you've hit well before, and you haven't done jack, you know what, against either of the Padres starters so far this series. This feels like a perfect recipe for the Rockies offense to break out. You see them score 5 or 6 earned runs on Nick Pivetta. I'm not necessarily counting on that because honestly, German Marquez could go out there and give up 6 himself, but I do think that there are runs at the play in this first 5. You could take the full game, but I don't like counting on 12 runs because you have to take over 11. I think if they're going to get close to that total, you probably need at least 6 in the first 5 innings. I don't want to count on some bullpens because I feel like anytime I back bullpens, I get the opposite of what should happen. Rockies bullpen looks great for some reason today. And then when I try to fade a team, their bullpen or back a team, their bullpen can't pitch to save their life. So again, I really like the over in the first 5 here. I have probably yapped for too long on 2. Padres get it by themselves. 4th pick of the day, and that's where we're going to end with 4 picks. Let's go 2-2. At worst, I need a 3-1. We have not swept in so long. Can we get a 4-0 sweep to bring back Logan, bring the vibes back? Let's do it. The Pass Squatch, Vinny Pasquantino over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Now, I'm putting the line in the sand once again on the hits, runs, RBIs prop. They have been all right to us this season. We're 8-11 on them. So not the best there. 42% honestly is just as good of a hit rate, if not one of our top ones, because that's how bad some of the other ones have been. But I look at Vinny Pasquantino at -120 on Bet365. He respected our coin the last time we took him just 2 days ago on Friday. We didn't take him yesterday. Could have easily done it. He had 2 hits. I'm going to go back to him today in what I believe to be an A-plus matchup. I'm not doing the bases today, but Vinny, why I don't mind taking an HRR prop for a guy like this is he comes up with guys on base. I mean, we have Jonathan India if he plays today. He leads off. We have Bobby Witt Jr. right behind him. The guys at the bottom of the lineup have been hitting too. It's really been the guys kind of in that 6, 7, 8 spot that haven't done a whole lot, but I do, or 6, 7 spot. But I still think Vinny is a guy that can go out there and do his job. And why I like the HRR, like I said, is because Bobby could easily hit a double and he gets up with guys on scoring position. So as opposed to trying to get the bases, which is good plus value, I think he has a chance of getting an RBI here. And we could see him score a run. Let's talk about why. Why the heck am I going back to the Pass Squatch? Well, we talked about him on Friday. Vinny sucked this year. He sucked. In March, have his numbers hit 214. April, 172. But then May flipped the switch. He's batting 341 in May. He's hitting 400 over his last 7 days. And he leads the MLB in May with 100+ exit velocities, 100+ miles per hour off the bat. He leads baseball. He's 20 of them things. So while he hasn't been necessarily hitting for a ton of power, he just has been hitting a lot of ground balls that are scorching through the infield. Eventually, I think those turns into extra base hits and turn into home runs. And yesterday, even against Garrett Crochet, a guy that I don't back Vinny against lefties, he had 300+ exit velo. So again, this is a guy seeing the ball really well and hitting it hard. Today he'll face Lucas Giolito. Historically against Giolito, he's only 2 for 9, but one of those hits was a home run. And also a lot of those appearances saw him in 2022, 2023. Vinny's now seeing a lot more ABs, and Giolito's not good. Let's call it what it is. Giolito, he's only made 2 starts this year. He struggled in the minors, and they called him up because they needed him for injuries, but he's allowing a 409 batting average to lefties. And this ain't much better to righties either. So a guy, again, Vinny should come up here with at least one, maybe two chances with guys in scoring position. And heck, if he doesn't, well, if he can get on base, who's right behind him? Salvador Perez. And normally, Salvi's a walking double play when I back the Royals. However, he has owned Lucas Giolito. Look at the numbers in his career: 16 for 37 with 4 doubles and 5 home runs against Lucas Giolito. So again, if Vinny could get on base, even if it's with 2 outs, Salvi could send one into the gap. Vinny should be able to score if it's with 2 outs. Heck, hit a home run for all I care. So again, Vinny, like I said, he's been seeing the ball really well. He's over this HRR market in 5 straight, 8 of his last 10. And if you want to look at the pitches Giolito throws, well, Giolito's throws this four-seamer 63% of the time to lefties. And once you know, a righty four-seamer is Vinny's best pitch. It's his highest expected slugging. It's where he has 3 of his home runs this season are off of that four-seamer from a righty. So all these things considered, I think this should be closer to minus 160, like it is for Salvador Perez right behind him. Bobby Witt Jr. is at 2.5. Jonathan India is at minus 150. The fact you're getting this at minus 120, I think, is a steal, given how well he's been. I don't think the books have caught up to it. So I will back Vinny, the pass squatch, Pascatino, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBI. So to recap the card, Orioles first 5 team total under 2.5. Mariners first 5 run line. The Padres Rockies over 5.5 in the first 5. And Vinny Pascatino over in hits, runs, and RBIs, leaning into our first 5s because bullpens have not been kind to us this season, and we've done better on first 5s than we have on full games. If you want to know our record for the people out there that are interested, we are 5-9 on money lines, 0-3 on run lines, and then over/under totals full game 4-10. So you combine the and team totals, just regular team totals, 2-7. So you combine those together. Let's do some quick maths: 5-12, 9-22. 11 and 29 on full game plays. So, I mean, heck, that's half of the losing right there is on full game plays. The bullpens have not been good to us. So I'm going away from them. I'm leaning into starting pitchers, and I'm leaning into those kind of matchups. And I don't really even give a you know what about the bullpens. I don't. None of our picks really care about the bullpens really today. O's will be decided by Tyler Anderson. Mariners will be decided by Bryce Miller and Jose Urania. Padres and Rockies will be decided by Nick Pivetta and German Marquez. And then Vinny, if he wants to get it cracking in the bullpen, go for it. I don't care. Let's go 4-0, man. I really love this card. I loved the Thursday card that should have been a 3-0 sweep, but we lost that Phillies again in the bullpen. Could have done their first 5 team total. Would have been a winner. I think we sweep today. 4-0. The vibes are back, baby. We need it. Have a great Mother's Day. I posted our 2 NBA videos last night, so if you want to go check those out, they are linked on the screen. Go show them some love. Let's have a great Mother's Day. Have a great Sunday. Let's welcome back Logan on Monday with a winning day. I'll see you guys back again in the next one. Peace.